Well, we've just landed one of these new Alpinestars SM10, Supertech M10 helmets from the guys at Monza who import Alpinestars into Australia. First Alpinestars off-road helmet on the market, super cool. We literally just uncrated it, pulled it out of the box, had a look at it, read through the owner's manual and some of the technical features in this thing, and there's a lot of them, so we thought we'd give you a little bit of a look at it before we go ahead and wear the thing and give you some feedback after a couple of months of putting it through its paces. So what is the SM10? Well, it's a carbon shell. It's a 3-layer carbon shell, and it also comes in 4 sizes, which is something kind of cool that not a lot of helmets do now. I mean, when you look at it, it's an absolutely beautiful looking helmet. I mean, the carbon, the quality of finish is just amazing. What really stands out for me is there's a hell of a lot of ventilation. I mean, everything from all these little mesh ports, front and rear and top, you know, right through to, you know, what you got looks like a couple of bull's nostrils, you know, at the front here. So ventilation is something they've obviously put a huge amount of work into. You know, the other stuff you notice is some just beautiful sort of curves on the thing. It's amazingly well manufactured. And the other thing, a cutaway here. So my understanding is this is designed to you know, stop it impacting your collarbone, you know, in the case of a crash. Let's weigh it. It's claimed to be, this is a medium, it's claimed to be 1,260 grams and 1,230 grams. So for a medium size, so, you know, that's light without being crazy light. And I've got to say, you know, there are a lot of helmets out there, but I'm sort of comfortable in something around this weight because really when you think about it, you know, I think it's no coincidence that the top of the line helmets from, you know, from the likes of Bell and Arai and Shui are all around that sort of 1,200-1,300 gram mark. Really cool looking helmet too. You know, one thing that really stood out for me is it's almost like a Formula One. You know, when you see those Formula One helmets, it's got a very flat back on it. But probably, I guess, from an aesthetic point of view, the thing that sort of stands out more than anything else on this helmet is the way that the visor's been integrated, you know, into the entire shell. So, I mean, put it this way, this visor makes a lot of other helmets' visors look like an afterthought. You got to get your goggles off, it snags on the thing because you've got to point up here, you know, or you're going through some sort of, you know, some bushland and you've got vines or trees sort of catching on the thing. So, you know, that's a very, very different look and it's just seamlessly integrated. And I mean, really, you know, every time I look at a helmet now that doesn't have a visor that's integrated like that, it kind of looks like a little bit old school. From a safety point of view, it's got a really high-tech liner. It's a 4-density EPS liner. It has a MIP system to manage those rotational energies, which is sort of expected in anything from a mid-range helmet upwards these days. You know, you have these orange tabs here, so you've got an automatic, you know, release system for your cheek pads. And there's also a provision for a helmet removal device or the eject system. And there's also a channel that runs in the EPS liner up the back to accommodate that and a little recessed piece of the liner that you can take out. And I guess the other thing is the visor release system. A couple other brands on the market have got either points that actually shear off or magnetic systems. Alpinestars come up with a patented system, and it's kind of interesting. There's basically 3 similar things. I'm doing it left-handed because I've just dislocated my fingers. The design, as I understand it, is that it's designed to tear away from the helmet and minimize those rotational leverage forces basically from any angle. So whereas some of the other helmets with similar systems, you know, they break off only with hits at certain angles. The fit, I think probably the fit is one of the most interesting things about it. The liner is probably a little bit more complex. You've got your 2 cheek pads, a crown pad that runs round effectively where a crown would sit on your head, and then something called an A-head. When I first saw the GIF or the online information about it, basically showed the helmet changing that A-head adjuster system. It changed the sort of aspect and the height of the helmet on your head. But basically it's a harness. I guess it's like a, you know, soft version of like a hard hat harness, which is adjustable at 4 points front and rear. And the interesting thing for me is the sizing on these things are pretty big. I'm usually a large. I put a large on, I was like, oh shit, that's on the large side. For me, I'm sure after a few wears it would have been too large and too floppy on my head. You can get an extra 5mm on the cheek pads, which helped it out a little bit. But I asked the guys to send me a medium, just on the off chance I might fit it. And that was really good for me because it gave me a super good insight into how good this A-head fitment system is. I put the thing on, it fit perfect everywhere, except I had a couple of little pressure points on my head. Followed the owner's manual, lifted the A-head adjuster up slightly, so it tilted it up slightly. And now the fit is prime. So I'm really glad I went through that exercise, and I think it was a really good way to sort of demonstrate that, you know, that patented fitment system is cool. And it's not just a cool fit, aside from getting the comfort, I mean, the smaller, the more conforming the shell is to your, the shape and the size of your head, the better protection the thing's going to offer you. So that's a really, really huge benefit. What else from a fit point of view? The chin piece is probably a little bit on the shorter side. The eye port slightly on. Well, so if you've got a bit of an overbite or a big nose, it might be a bit of a problem. That's just a typical pair of their Fox goggles there. So probably going to have to take the the breath deflector out there to get your goggles to fit properly. But from a fit point of view, it's super comfortable. I think it's got a slightly wider strap as well, so nothing untoward there. A couple of little things worth mentioning from an extras point of view, and it's a really cool idea. There's actually, you can see in here, there's a, they've actually made a little recess for your hydration pack tube, so you can run the thing on either side, same as I said with the eject system in the back there before. That's just a really nice little touch. Kind of cool that they've integrated the the Alpinestars star into the front there. As I said, the quality of finish on the thing is just about as good as I think I've ever seen with an off-road helmet. It's pretty insane. What else? So downsides. Well, not really downsides, but I think I'd have to say that the liner is probably a little bit more complex. So you've got your two cheek pads. As I said, you've got your crown liner. Then you also have what's left in there is the A-head system. So in order to take that out, it's a little bit more fiddly. Once you figure out how to do it, it's really easy. And as I said, it's worth the time and energy because the adjustment that it gives you in terms of being able to customize the fit to your head, is absolutely prime. The other thing, I guess, with the visor system is it's not adjustable. It's fantastic that it's integrated and streamlined, sits in there, but like Fox's new MVRS helmet, it's fixed in position. So while that might work for some guys, some trail guys or guys that want to run in the desert or whatever, that want to run their visor further down, that may be a bit of an issue. Aside from that, it's very difficult to to say anything negative about this helmet. We're really looking forward to getting out and running with the thing, and we'll come back and report on what it feels like to run, to ride with. I love the fact that Alpinestars is a specialist protection company. The Mozzarella family there, and Montebelluna over in Italy has been making boots for 500 plus years. So for me, Alpinestars is always a protection company. That's what they're good at. They're so fantastic. The fact that they're kind of Italians and stylish is a benefit as well. You pay for this helmet, it's about $850, which puts it up there near top of the line, Bell or Shoei. I think you pay, I'm in the fortunate position where I don't pay for my helmets, I have to admit that, but I don't put my head in low rent helmets these days. In fact, I've never been comfortable with it. So for me, this thing's, it's a good start in terms of having all those sort of safety features with it. As you'd expect, it comes with a spare visor, comes with a nice little kind of carry case. But not cheap. So look, we're really hoping this thing performs. I'm really looking forward to getting out and running the thing. So this SM10 is the only off-road helmet that Alpinestars is producing at this stage. We believe around Christmas time they're going to bring out an SM8, which is a slightly more affordable composite shell. So keep an eye out for that SM8. If this thing's a little out of your price range, I understand the SM8 comes with all those features, with a slightly different shell construction. But in the meantime, we're really looking forward to having a bit of a crack with this thing. And I know the thing fits now. I know it's technology inside out. Now I want to get out there and give it a bit of a crack.